Russian soldiers are being attacked by drones. Drones have now taken over the supply routes. A Russian attack group on motorcycles has been destroyed. Great work by Ukrainian artillery. It's very hard to hide. There are destroyed vehicles everywhere. During a mortar attack, Russian soldiers are running to find cover. Stay with us for more. July 3rd, 2025. A Russian soldier, spotted by reconnaissance drones from Ukraine's Sharp Eyes unit, sought refuge inside a trash container. Moments later, a Ukrainian FPV drone was deployed to the location. Before the soldier had any chance to react, the drone struck its target with precision. In the Kharkiv region, 2 Russian soldiers on a motorcycle were hunted by FPV drones operated by the Ukrainian TSO-M2 units. The drone made a direct impact on the soldiers and their vehicle. You can show your support by liking and commenting on this video. July 3rd, 2025. A Russian soldier transporting supplies was identified by Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone. As the drone closed in, the soldier understood his escape was cut off. Unarmed and panicking, he ran in circles around his cart, attempting to flee. The drone pilot methodically stalked him, applying constant pressure from above. In a final desperate act, the soldier began picking up objects and hurling them at the drone. Ultimately, the drone closed the distance and concluded the pursuit with a direct attack. July 3rd, 2025. A Russian BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher was located in the vicinity of Toretsk. A Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone engaged it directly, destroying the weapon system. A Russian MT-LB armored vehicle was also eliminated by an FPV kamikaze drone. The operation was conducted by the CSO-A unit of the SBU. June 30th, 2025. A Russian T-72 tank was identified in the Andreevka sector and was immediately engaged by Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone. Following the impact, the tank's hatch opened briefly, but no crew members were able to evacuate. The tank was consumed by fire. July 2nd, 2025. In the Kharkiv region, a Russian soldier concealed in the undergrowth was targeted by Ukrainian FPV drone. He attempted to use his weapon as a shield, but it was far too late. July 2nd, 2025. UAVs from Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade stalked Russian logistics vehicles along their supply lines. One of the transports, carrying Russian personnel, suffered a devastating strike from an FPV UAV. As the vehicle erupted in flames, the soldiers inside fled towards the adjacent tree line. July 2nd, 2025. An FPV drone from the Ukrainian Azov unit was in hot pursuit of a Russian vehicle. This initiated a frantic chase. When the Russian soldiers spotted the drone, they began making erratic maneuvers to evade it. However, the drone operator was exceptionally skilled. Despite the Russian vehicle's high speed, it could not outrun the drone. As a soldier attempted to open the door and bail out, the drone slammed into the vehicle near Avdiivka in the Donetsk region, a site of ongoing intense combat. Ukrainian 32nd Mechanized Brigade's drone units launched accurate bomb attacks on Russian trenches. Following these strikes, Russian soldiers were compelled to abandon their posts and retreat. A Russian BMP-2 armored vehicle transporting troops to the front became the focus of FPV drones. However, it was not immediately neutralized as the Russian soldiers remained barricaded inside. A second kamikaze drone, armed with a larger explosive payload, was dispatched. It targeted the armored vehicle, obliterating it completely. There was nowhere left to run. The Azov Battalion, renowned for its mastery of drone tactics, utilizes FPV kamikaze drones against Russian infantry. These drones attack relentlessly and swiftly, delivering strikes with deadly accuracy, leaving Russian soldiers exposed with minimal time to respond. Time and again, Russian troops find themselves caught in open fields or trenches, helpless against the unceasing drone assaults. The psychological toll is as significant as the physical destruction, driving Russian infantry into a state of fear and disarray. July 1st, 2025. A Russian military transport carrying numerous Russian soldiers was hit by a loitering munition from Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade. As the vehicle was struck, soldiers began to scatter across the open terrain. But in this barren landscape, there was no place to hide. Near the village of Katarinivka in the Donetsk region, a Russian soldier made a life-saving choice after a single munition drop. He surrendered to a Ukrainian drone. His posture indicated a clear intent to surrender, and the drone hovered nearby to confirm his capitulation. Within the Serebransky forest, drone operators from the 107th Battalion of the 63rd Ukrainian Brigade pursued a pair of Russian soldiers. Realizing they were being followed, the soldiers attempted to evade the drone among the dense foliage. However, the expert Ukrainian operator maneuvered through the forest with ease. Despite their repeated attempts to shoot it down, they failed. When one soldier stumbled and fell, the drone locked on and eliminated him. Seeing his comrade hit, the other soldier abandoned him and quickly vacated the area. As part of an assault formation, Russian soldiers were advancing on Ukrainian trenches when they were met with precise Ukrainian artillery fire. The initial barrage disoriented the soldiers, with many being incapacitated by cluster munitions. Soon after, a more intense artillery salvo targeted the regrouping soldiers. The assault inflicted heavy casualties, leaving many wounded and several unable to fight. Ukrainian forces likely employed 152mm howitzers and cluster munitions to maximize area of effect damage and disrupt Russian frontline operations. A Russian T-80 tank was detected attempting to advance on Ukrainian positions. An FPV kamikaze drone directly targeted the soldiers riding on top of the tank. Following the drone attack, the Russian unit opted to retreat along their original path. Russian soldiers wounded in the strike were observed being carefully carried to a nearby fortified bunker by their comrades. Ukrainian forces neutralized an FPV kamikaze UAV belonging to the Strat unit of the Maram-M surveillance system in the Kharkiv region. The Ukrainian 14th UAV Regiment's Charlie unit conducted a pivotal operation in Donetsk with advanced Switchblade drones. These kamikaze drones effectively targeted and destroyed multiple Russian armored vehicles, substantially impeding their advance. This operation highlighted Ukraine's proficient use of modern drone technology on the battlefield. A lone Ukrainian Leopard 2A4 tank dealt a severe blow to a Russian convoy, neutralizing 3 Russian armored vehicles with consecutive accurate shots. This engagement, which halted the convoy with its high precision and rapid maneuvering, once again demonstrated the effectiveness of Ukraine's armored forces. 2 Russian soldiers were then spotted near the Zaporizhia region by drones from the Ivan Franko unit. After traversing the terrain for a period, the soldiers took cover in a ditch concealed by branches. A bomb-laden Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone commenced its attack run. The soldiers either noticed the drone and remained still, hoping to go unnoticed, or they were completely unaware of its approach. They stayed motionless even as the UAV drew extremely close. This behavior might stem from their training protocols or perhaps a lack thereof. In the end, the FPV kamikaze drone strikes the soldiers. Ukrainian artillery units executed a coordinated operation in the areas of Dilyevka village and the city of Toretsk. Acting on intelligence from reconnaissance drones, the artillery delivered precise strikes, neutralizing a significant number of Russian infantry, a mortar system, and a Russian howitzer. Simultaneously, UAV operators targeted and struck Russian shelters throughout the engagement. Russian soldiers who took refuge in ruined buildings were first tracked and then hit by Ukrainian artillery using high explosive shells. When the compromised structures were struck, the soldiers were often crushed by the collapsing debris. Here are the locations of the identified Russian mortar teams. A Russian howitzer, camouflaged amongst trees, met the same fate. Throughout the operation, numerous Russian artillery systems were destroyed. In a single day, 5 howitzers, 3 mortars, and 25 Russian soldiers were eliminated. Ukrainian forces have adopted a highly successful tactic of ambushing Russian military vehicles with FPV kamikaze drones stationed along critical supply lines. These drones are deployed in advance and lie in wait, either hovering or positioned nearby, anticipating the appearance of Russian convoys, fuel trucks, and armored vehicles. Once a target is acquired, Ukrainian drone operators, often located miles away, pilot the FPV drones with pinpoint accuracy towards the moving targets. The strikes are swift, silent, and devastating.
Explosives are delivered directly to engines, fuel tanks, or cargo holds, causing fiery explosions and the complete destruction of the vehicle.